Okay, so we are recording. Okay, so what I want to do is to share with you how you can use the WIDA ACCESS assessment that provides can-do indicators, how you can use this information tied in to the district math program that we have, and how we can use this information to support our English language learners. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. And we're going to share, I think it's the screen. All right, and let me X out. Okay, so hold on here. I don't need that screen either. I don't need that screen. Leave. Okay, so what I want to do is to share with you. You're going to go to your Clever just like normal, and then you'll click on the I Ready, and then you will come over to your dashboard. And let me move my pictures and things out of here. Okay, so then when you get to here, over on the left side, make certain that you choose math. And then what you will do is to go over to the teacher toolbox. And what I'm going to share with you today is a sample of a middle school, so a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. You will use the same concept and same information, regardless if you're doing the high school 9-12, if you're doing kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever grade level, you're still going to use this exact same type of information. Because I'm sharing with you a 6th grade student, I'm going to go to the 6th grade information. So I'm looking at the 6th grade content. I'm going to scroll down, and at the beginning of every single unit in our I Ready math program, you will be able to click on it, and you will find, scroll down a little bit, you'll find this purple box. Okay, and what I want to draw your attention to is that this here is focusing on the English language learners that you have in your classroom. Now, I want you to also look at the purple colors here. As you are going through the teacher's manual and you see these little purple boxes with a rubric, then those little rubrics are going to be very beneficial to you to let you know what your English language learner can achieve. Now, most of the time, you're only going to see 1 or 2 strands of the language domains. However, at the very beginning of each unit, you will see the entire unit. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. Excuse me. And first, what I want to do is to explain to you how this works. So at the very top, it's going to give you your language domain. And whenever you are in each of the different lessons and you have one of these rubrics, then that rubric is going to focus on meeting that specific standard. Okay, so here we have our learning topic. We have our language domains to the left. We have listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And those are the 4 language domains that English language learners are assessed on. Then across the top, you have different levels. You have beginning, intermediate, and advanced. And a score goes from level 1 to level 5. But I want you to realize that over here on the way to the right is a level 6. And it's not on here because a level 6 means the student is proficient. When students take their access assessment, they are able to get a score of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. When they score a 6, that means they've basically perfected, they have 100% almost, if you will, on that specific assessment. So what I'm going to do is to share with you how this rubric for your English language learners from chapter 1 of the 6th grade I Ready math program, how we're going to use this to support your English language learner. All right. So what I have here on the next picture is I have with you a sample WIDA consortium can-do descriptors. So what happens is every February, all English language learner students are going to take their access assessment. From that access assessment, we get scores, and the scores again range from 1 to 6. So you'll see this specific student in the reading domain. Again, along the left side are all of the domains. In the reading domain, the student scored a 3. So what we can expect this student to do in class is to identify topic sentences, to identify multiple meanings, to use context clues to make predictions, to identify frequently used affixes and root words, to differentiate between fact and opinion, and answer questions about explicit information in text, and also use English dictionaries and glossaries. So that's what we can expect our English learner student to do. However, throughout the year, what we want to do is to is to provide support for the student so that the student is pushed over to working in level 4. And that is the goal. And every year is to definitely increase until we can get over to the 6. Okay. So in reading, the student scored a 3. What does that mean for your math class? Let's go back over to that purple page. All right. So we're going to go down to the reading domain, and we are in level 3. So what you can expect your English learner to do right now is to interpret real world problems that involve evaluating expressions by using the glossary or a dictionary to clarify word meanings as needed, and by identifying variables, values, and operations with a partner. Okay, that's what you can expect that your child can be successful doing, meeting the learning target that has been given at the top of this page. What our goal is to provide support so that the student can reach over to the 4 or even a 5, right? At the end, what we want to do is our students to be over to that 4 or 5. What I like to do is think of that 3, 4 is the river. And if they're on a 3, we want them to hop across that so that they can go over to that 4. And that's where they're going to have more proficiencies. So this is just focusing on the reading domain, that level 3. And then in your instruction, you'll provide supports for the student to move over to the 4. I want you to remember that a student who doesn't have any language challenges, no language deficiencies, they should be a 6. You should be able to teach your lesson, and educators, we typically teach to the 6, right? That's that tier 1. We teach the lesson and we hope that all the students are able to get it. However, in our lesson planning, we know that there are students who do struggle, and so we provide that extra support. And this is the extra support that you provide for your English language learners. And then we also have the tier 2 support. So that would be another layer of instruction that we would add after we've done our tier 1. But when you do your tier 1, if you're able to provide some additional support within, how you can differentiate your lesson, then that is going to help the student to be more successful. All right, let's go back over to our student. And when we look at writing, the student is at writing at a level 3. And so this student can produce short paragraphs, write main ideas, can create compound sentences, explain steps in problem solving, compare and contrast, give opinions, preferences, and reactions along with some reasons. And we want to push that student over to a 4. So we want to push a student into creating multiple paragraph essays to justify those ideas, to produce content that's content related reports, to use details. So we're pushing that student over to the 4, right? However, in math class, we're not typically doing a lot of those things, okay? So in your math class, and you're looking at your specific learning target for the unit, right? If you're on a specific lesson, you have a standard, you're looking at where that student is right now. So right now in this math unit, the student can, at a 3, describe the order of steps to evaluate an expression using sentence frames and a list of sequenced words. Now, sentence frames, those are basically, another word is sentence starters. So you're going to give, perhaps the cat will, or I'm trying to think of like a math example, but you would just give like a beginning sentence starter, and then the student would fill in the rest. You would also provide some words that the student could use to embed in that sentence, or include some words to help show first, next, then last, the sequence. All right. So we're moving that student over to the 4. Describe the order of steps to evaluate an expression using sentence starters. And then finally, to get to the 5, we want the student to be able to do it without those sentence starters. Okay. So you can see how we've taken off the list of sequence words available. So the student should have knowledge of that themselves. And then finally, we don't need any sentence starters because the student can articulate that information on his or her own. All right, so that's how we can use this as a resource to support our English language learners in our math class. Let's go back over to our student, and we'll go down to the next page, and I do need to rotate this one. There we go. Okay, so we're looking at listening. Now you'll notice that there's no mark because the student scored a 6. So every single thing that you are saying is making sense to the student, okay? So there is no auditorial language barrier, okay? And then finally, when you look at speaking, the student expresses information, but doesn't express it to the ability that a proficient student would overhear it as a 6. So what can this student do? This student can convey content through high frequency words, phrases, state big main ideas of classroom conversation, describe situations from model sentences, describe routines and everyday events, express everyday needs and wants, communicate in social situations, make requests. And what we're going to do is to work with the student so the student has oral language to move over to a 3, hop the river and get over to that 5, and then that 4, 5, and then finally a 6. So in your math class, what does this look like? We are focusing on speaking and we are at level 2. So to meet the specific learning target here, the student is able to explain how the value of a variable affects the value of an expression by working with a partner to complete sentence frames using lesson vocabulary. And we're working to provide supports to move the student over to a 3 so that the student can explain how the value of variable affects the value of an expression by using lesson vocabulary to complete sentence frames, okay? And again, it's just changing your lesson up a little bit so that way you can give additional support to those English language learners or any student who is language deficient so that they can meet the learning target, or if you're in a specific lesson, they can meet that specific standard, okay? All right, my friends, I hope that this has been helpful to you. Our focus again is to be able to use the WIDA Access report. We put it in a nice handy dandy can-do indicators, and it's again broken out to each of the different grade levels. And then also how you can use this information, coincide it with the district's curriculum to support the students that you have in your classroom. Not only your English language learners, but also those students who are language deficient. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to your English language instructional specialist, and we are here to support you and your students. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Sorry about that.